Okay, y'all, here's a super cool story about Jo Dee Messina, Tim McGraw, and how they became friends when they were just trying to make it in Nashville, and how both of their lives changed forever. So, in a recent interview with Taste of Country Nights, Jo Dee Messina shared some startling news about what life was like when she first came to Nashville. She said she basically had no friends at first, that is, until she met Tim McGraw. Here's what Jo Dee Messina recently told Taste of Country. She said, "My circle was really small. I didn't know anybody. I was new to Nashville. I met Tim and I met Byron and I met a couple of other people. I didn't go out and drink and I didn't party and I didn't go out to the bars, so all that networking never happened. Somebody heard me here, somebody heard me there, and then I ended up getting a deal, but that was McGraw that made that happen." So, how did Jo Dee Messina and Tim McGraw first meet, and what's the story to Tim McGraw influencing Jo Dee's music so much? Well, Jo Dee Messina moved from Massachusetts to Nashville when she was 19 years old. She was singing in a Nashville bar one night when she happened to meet producer Byron Gallimore, who just happened to be working with a young man named Tim McGraw. Now, Tim and Jo Dee became great friends, and Tim eventually helped Jo Dee Messina get signed to his own label, Curb Records. And turns out Tim also had a lot of influence on Jo Dee Messina in the early stages of her career. This is what she says. "When I first started off, I was very timid, and I didn't want to ruffle feathers. I didn't want to shake the cart, you know what I mean? And McGraw was like, no, she needs to do this song like Lesson in Leaving. He wanted to do that for the first record. And they were like, no, can't do it. You can't do remakes. And so then the second record, he's like, okay, we need to do Lesson in Leaving. And so he was adamant and loved it and just heard it. He heard that song from like 3 years before we cut it. So he knocked open a lot of doors for me at that point in time. So he was instrumental. Now, over the years, Jo Dee Messina and Tim McGraw lost touch with each other as their careers and personal lives took them in different directions. But just recently, they had a chance to catch up and talk about old times. And that's when Jo Dee Messina told Tim McGraw this. "So I got to say to him the other day, you know, I don't know if I've ever said this, but thanks for a great life." And how did Tim McGraw respond to learning just how much he inspired and influenced Jo Dee Messina in this critical part of her career? "I think we cried," Jo Dee said. What a fantastic story about two youngsters trying to find their way in country music before both becoming huge country music stars themselves. I absolutely love these behind-the-scenes stories about country music, and I hope you enjoyed it. I'll be bringing more of these stories to you in the next video. Until then, y'all take care.